So you are 20,000 times more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to strike it rich in the Powerball jackpot, but someone beat the odds big time here in Wisconsin. We'll pass along the winning numbers.
That'll buy plenty of brats and beer for the folks heading down to Milwaukee for Brewers opening day today. We have live reports from Miller Park.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Thursday, March 28th. All three of us are here today, so none of us won that Powerball. Though I will say, even if I won, I would still come to hang out with you folks.
You just wouldn't get up this early.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah.
I'd be a little late for the show.
If I won, I wouldn't tell you, and I'd just show up to work anyway.
Oh, good
until
for
I
you.
secretly just disappeared. So you never
Smart
know.
man. Smart man.
Just backed away into the darkness.
Never saw Chris again.
But in the meantime, I will tell folks the weather in Wisconsin because I didn't win. So we're going to stick with my first lottery win, and that was the job of my dreams. But temperatures, I know, so sweet. I'm kidding. All right, temperatures this morning. Are mainly in the 40s. Madison over the past hour has suddenly taken a drop from 47 to 40. And I will admit, with winds out of the southwest, I'm a little bit skeptical of that, but it has some support with Juneau and Watertown reporting 41 degrees right now. So perhaps there's a pocket of colder air showing up. I'm going to have to dig into that one. But still, 50 as you work your way over towards Kenosha, Milwaukee at 49, Janesville at 46, Mineral Point at 48. So you see most of us are waking up with temperatures that are into the upper 40s. But a cold front is pushing through as we speak, and that is one of the reasons I will buy the 40-degree temperature, or the 40-degree temperature that we do have out there. Winds still mainly out of the south, but they're starting to make that transition to being out of the north and northwest, which means we're going to stay on the cooler side of the spectrum today. Yesterday, we saw those highs around 60. Some folks made it to 67. Today, about 50 to 57 for your highs. So it is going to be essentially a cooler day with some cloud cover, but still not too bad for a little Friday.
A little Friday.
Mini Friday.
I love that. Brewers opening season, lots of folks out for that.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah, I was going to say no rain to hinder those plans at all.
That's nice.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
So that forecast is looking great for some tailgating at the opening day downtown, or down at Miller Park, I should say.
Yeah, Christina Laurie drew the best assignment of the day, if you can't tell. She joins us live at the ballpark with what looks like some special guests.
Yeah, some friends.
It's always a beautiful day here at Miller Park. It's about 30 degrees warmer inside the stadium. The roof will stay closed during the game, but I think it's time I should dress the elephants, or rather sausages, behind me. The Johnsonville Brats, Bernie, making an appearance on our morning show today. They're excited for the game. We're excited too. We'll be here all morning. In the last half hour, we learned about some of their friends that they were cooking up down with Chef Seth. But coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll learn what's new here at Miller Park, in addition to the 2018 division champs being added to a banner. Here, we'll show you that. And then around 6:45, we'll hear from Brewers great Gorman Thomas about his predictions for the upcoming season. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you. First pitch at 1:10 this afternoon. Get here early. There will be some extra security.
Now, Christina is a runner, so we might need the results of a sausage race versus Christina coming up here in a little bit.
They said that we're not allowed out on the field, but I did want to run around the bases and race these guys. I think I would win. We'll just go with that.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting live from Milwaukee for us this morning. Thank you, Christina.
Into our Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, someone in Wisconsin is waking up quite a bit richer this morning after drawing the third largest Powerball jackpot in history. That ticket was sold in New Berlin, just east of Waukesha. The $768 million jackpot has a one-time cash payout of just over $777 million, or you could get that full amount over 29 years. Wisconsin is tied for 6th on the all-time list of most frequent winning states. The winning ticket holder has 180 days to claim their prize. And in our state, that person cannot remain anonymous.
More local news this morning as some of the laws passed in a lame duck session late last year are effective once again after an appeals court sided with state Republicans and reinstated those laws. 2 Dane County judges have ruled that at least parts of the legislation passed to limit the powers of Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul are illegal. One judge said some laws violated separation of powers. Another said the extraordinary session itself was unlawful, meaning all the bills passed during it violate the state constitution. However, a court of appeals has put a stay on that ruling, which means while the legal battle continues, many of the lame duck laws will still be enforced.
The man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents will be back in court in about 2 months after pleading guilty yesterday. 21-year-old Jake Patterson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of intentional homicide and 1 count of kidnapping. This comes after he sent a letter from jail last month telling a Minnesota reporter he planned to plead guilty to spare Jamie and her family from a trial. The 13-year-old was not in the courtroom yesterday. Patterson held Jamie in his home for 3 months after he killed her parents at their home in Barron. She was able to escape in January. Patterson's sentencing hearing has been scheduled for May 24th.
New developments now in the recovery efforts after this spring's flooding. We now know the state will not be getting any federal help. The state of Wisconsin did not meet the damage threshold to apply for that aid following this month's flooding. According to a release from Columbia County, most rivers are receding, but some are still high. That includes the Fox River. Governor Evers did declare a state of emergency, so state assistance will be available to some communities.
As people continue to recover from those floods, the state's Consumer Protection Agency is putting out a warning about possible flood cleanup scams. DACAP says so-called storm chasers tend to show up after disasters offering to help, only to leave after they have your money or do poor work. They say you should always call your insurance agent or company first about any flood damage before you give money to someone claiming to be a contractor. A local farmer is doing something good for his fellow farmers in Nebraska that are dealing with some flooding of their own. Friends and family gathered to send Joe Keller off on his nearly 7-hour drive. Keller spent the last week collecting supplies after Nebraska suffered nearly $8 billion in crop and cattle losses due to flooding. He's gathered hay and lumber in addition to a full semi-truck and trailer filled with supplies. He plans to return on Sunday. Hats off to him.
Yeah, no kidding. 6:07 right now. So just a guess here, we think there will probably be, about 40,000 people coming down with an unexpected cold across Wisconsin today. The only cure? Well, Brewers, baseball, heading to Milwaukee for opening day.
Of course.
Yeah, Christina Lurie's back in a few minutes to let us know what's new at Miller Park this year.
Maybe it won't be quite warm enough to open the roof at the stadium today, but Chris still calling for temperatures in the mid-50s. We'll call that good tailgating weather for Wisconsin. He's in next for our first alert forecast.
Happy Thursday, friends. Today is what's expected to be another good day for us here in South Central Wisconsin. We will not be as warm as we were yesterday, but it is going to be close. In fact, yesterday's highs, we made it to 59 here in town. Today, we're only expected to be about 3 degrees colder by the time we get you into the afternoon. Now, in the west, you'll notice the biggest difference. That's because you guys made it into the upper 60s yesterday. Today, it's going to be the upper 50s, which again is still warmer than average for this time of the year. We're starting out the morning warmer than we were at this time yesterday for a lot of folks, but that cold front is starting to push right on top of us. And so we are already starting to see a change in temperature for a lot of folks. We dropped from 47 down to 40 at the airport in Madison, but you notice some folks are still in the upper 40s, 46 in Janesville, 49 as you work your way over towards Milwaukee. And then these temperatures are essentially going to stay put as we go through the day. Winds still out of the southwest at 7, but we are going to notice that change to a northwesterly wind as we go through the day. In fact, those winds just dropped now down to 3 miles per hour. But you see the northwesterly wind coming at us just across other parts of the state. That is what's going to keep those temperatures into the 50s today instead of allowing us to work our way into the 60s. We're also going to see a bit more in the way of some cloud cover. So once that cold front moves on through, things will begin to dry out at least a little bit in terms of our skies, allowing for some more sunshine. But then another wave comes on through, and that's going to bring more cloud cover overnight and into your Friday. Overnight lows will be right around 33 degrees, by the way. And then into Friday, we'll see those temperatures around 52. Here's the deal. Things are trending farther south and drier for your Friday, which is actually good news into the weekend as a whole. We may actually be able to luck out with minimal rain chances, if any. The overall system that's been slated to impact us this weekend has gradually pushed farther and farther south over the past couple of days, and now there's increasing confidence that we may actually luck out and stay dry. But for now, we're going to keep that chance of rain in the forecast, but notice things may be changing up a bit as we go through the rest of the day, so definitely stay tuned to the rest of the forecast. Some sunshine will return as we get you into Sunday, along with the rebound in temperatures towards earlier next week. In fact, we're going to see those highs returning towards 60 by midweek next week, and then a chance of rain for Thursday before temperatures come back to where they should be for this time of the year near next weekend. Now let's go to Jason Stone with First Alert Traffic. Jason?
Morning. No incidents to report at this time as drivers are delay and are moving at the posted speed limit. All routes are clear for heading into Madison and around Dane County for commuters this morning, and only moderate lining up at the intersections on East Wash heading downtown and around the Capitol Square. With your First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, thank you, Jason. And of course, thank you, Chris. Roads clear to Milwaukee, and today is the day, Brewers fans. Only about 4 hours until tailgating begins outside Miller Park for opening day.
The Brew Crew is known for some pretty sweet game day giveaways, and to get the lowdown on that, we're going to turn it over to Christina Laurie, who's made some more friends in Milwaukee this morning. Hey, Christina.
Good morning. This is the start of the Brewers' 50th season since moving to Milwaukee from Seattle. This morning, we're joined by Rick Schlesinger. He's the president of business operations here. So what's new in 2019 here at Miller Park?
Well, probably the best thing is the 2018 National League Central banner behind us that signifies our success last year. It's a new season this year. We've got lower prices on our retail items, a lot of new food items. Same great ballpark experience, and 60-degree weather for opening day, which is pretty nice. So we'll have a lot of tailgaters, and just a fun atmosphere. And it's all about the players in the field, and we're expecting a great year.
So this year, opening day is a little bit earlier than in the past. Has that posed any challenges getting ready?
No, it just felt like a shorter off season. We played deeper into October than normal, which is a good problem to have. And the season does start earlier, so we're ready. Thank God we have a roof because. Generally speaking, it's still cold in Milwaukee in late March and early April, but, roof will be closed, nice 68 degrees inside. So people should bring a light jacket, but they'll be comfortable inside. But, an early start doesn't affect us. I'm not sure the people in Minneapolis feel the same way, but we've got the roof.
Or Chicago, to be fair. We don't have a roof either. So in the off season, do you travel to any other ballparks, try to get ideas of what you want to bring here to Milwaukee?
Yeah, we do that all the time. In fact, we have meetings with other executives around the league, and we do that in the off season. We also travel to other cities and other venues during the season. Whether it's arenas, stadiums, baseball parks. There's always good ideas out there. Maybe not necessarily just in Major League Baseball. We've even made some trips overseas to soccer, teams, to the Premier League. Again, great ideas can come from anywhere, and we can bring them to Milwaukee and make it our own. So absolutely, we do a lot of idea sharing.
And real quick, any hints on who's going to be throwing out the first pitch at the game today? You try to keep it under wraps. I'm going to try to get an idea.
No, we'll keep it as a secret, but I think fans will be very excited. And again, you'll find out a little bit after 1 o'clock who it is, but we're not going to tell anybody ahead of time.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us,
Sure.
Rick. It was great talking to you, finding out what's new here at Miller Park. Again, first pitch is at 1:10. Shortly before that, we'll find out who the mystery thrower is to take the mound.
All right, Christina Laurie with the best
State
assignment
pitcher.
of the day. Try and grab
Brain
some
not working.
snakes there, Christina. Snacks up for us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hopefully. All right, 6:16 right now. It's a busy day in the sports world because on top of opening day, the madness continues with the start of Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament today. You can watch a couple of those basketball games tonight right here on News 3 Now, just after 6. Florida State will face off against the number 1 seeded Gonzaga, and after that, Texas Tech will take on Michigan. That's just after 8:30. Now, because of those games, News 3 Now at 6 will start at 5:30 tonight, and News 3 Now at 10 will probably start more around 11. So last year, the high temperature for the Brewers home opener was 36 degrees. Yeah, Chris has a much better forecast, at least temperature-wise today. He'll have another check of the weather coming up.
But first, there are some alarming new numbers for soon-to-be moms about the risks of working third shift while pregnant. We'll have more on that when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
We do have a cold front pushing over the area this morning. That's going to bring temperatures down just a bit as we work our way into the afternoon. We're also going to see those winds change direction from southwest towards northwest as we go throughout your morning. Here's how things are shaping up for us right now. We're already seeing the northwesterly wind start to take over most of the area. We have southerly winds as you work your way towards the south and east, but that wind change is now right on top of us here in Madison, and they come out of the northwest as you work your way farther upstate. Still, though, temperatures are in the 40s for just about everyone, and we are going to see those winds continue to change as we go throughout the day. 46 right now in Janesville, Kenosha at 50, but then you go up towards Black River Falls, and that's where temperatures are in the upper 30s. We're going to keep some cloud cover around going through the day, but temperatures will hold steady in the upper 40s and then eventually mid 50s for highs this afternoon.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. A new study out this week has some scary findings for expecting moms who work nights.
Yeah, it found that after 8 weeks of pregnancy, women who worked 2 or more night shifts during the week had a 32% higher chance of miscarriage. That's a lot of numbers. So to break it down a little bit, we asked Dr. Mandira Mehra from SSM Health to join us and talk a little bit more. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is pretty scary, I mean, for women like us who
Right.
work and you who work some strange hours. And, you know, a lot of people in these jobs already have trouble conceiving.
Of course, and we've talked about the risk for conceiving, as you've said in the past, and now we're talking about really working those night shifts and working consecutive night shifts, increasing your risk of miscarriage. So a little bit terrifying, like you said,
Yeah.
but what the study looked at was very large, first of all. It was a Danish study, looked at over 22,000 women, so very large, compared it also to the national health registries and rates of miscarriage. So what it unfortunately found was that the more nights, more overnight shifts that were worked, the rate of miscarriage increased between those weeks of 8 and about 22. So there's a lot of theories here. We don't know why exactly. We don't know if it has to do with melatonin, that chemical that regulates our sleep-wake cycles, that have to do with the light receptors and things like that, and that's important for not only our sleep, but also placental function. Or is it because of some kind of abnormality in the genetics and chromosomes? Is it the stress factor? Is it the cortisol levels? There are many different theories here. That's where more study is definitely needed. You know, the impact here is that it could definitely affect our occupational recommendations going forward.
Sure.
Is that if you are pregnant or if you are in those beginning stages, perhaps those shifts will not be recommended in the future or will be tightly regulated. So more to come in the future, but definitely a fascinating study.
We also want to talk a little bit about a new recommendation by the Academy of Pediatrics. They're throwing their support behind a tax on sugary drinks.
Right.
How serious is that health risk?
Serious enough that if you look at the obesity rates, you know, in this country, obviously, every time we look at the rates, they're increasing. So it used to be 1 in 10, then 1 in 7, 1 in 5. But when you look at our children, it's even astounding that really 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 are considered obese. Is it the sugary drinks? Is it less activity, technology? Probably in reality, a combination of all the above. So what we need to do is start regulating some of these things or giving our kids healthy eating habits and drinking habits. When we talk about sugar, the recommended daily sugar intake is about 6 teaspoons. So to break that down, really in a can of soda, you're looking at 7 to 10 teaspoons of sugar.
In just one.
In just one. And so you imagine children, adult, maybe we're all guilty of this, but whether it's our cup of coffee, a fruit drink, a soda, you know, it's easy to down 2 to 4 of those easily in a day. And so by regulating that, hopefully increasing the tax, you think maybe it would curb some of that ingestion. But, you know, obviously it's going to be a multi-level type thing that would have to take place. Now, sugar is the bad guy here. We always talk about why is sugar so bad for us. We know it increases our heart attack risk, our stroke attack risk, but this study looked at the fact that it increases your mortality risk. So if you have 2 or more sugary drinks a day, the risk factor here of premature or dying early increases by 30, almost 40%. So maybe if we tax these things, we'll have less of that. You know, it worked for things like tobacco, it worked for other things in the past, so maybe it'll work here.
2 really interesting topics this morning. Thank you, Dr. Mehra, for talking with us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Well, just for some perspective on this, the Powerball news, I should say, you are 26 times more likely to get eaten by a shark than you are to win the Powerball jackpot. So we will tell you where a very lucky person bought that ticket right here in Wisconsin.
And Special Olympics volunteers here in the state are speaking out against a proposal that would slash federal spending for the organization. More local news is next on News 3 Now this morning. A California man will be getting $80 million after a jury decided the weed killer he used for years caused his cancer.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Thursday, March 28th. And we've been talking all morning about how someone here in Wisconsin won the Powerball overnight, multi-million-dollar winner.
Multi-hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, living the life. But I think we all hit the jackpot with this pretty nice forecast we have today.
It is looking pretty good. The numbers, not gonna lie here. Chris Reese is out on the patio. How's it feeling out there, Chris?
It honestly does not feel bad at all. It's very comfortable, and just scanning the sky a couple moments ago, we actually are getting rid of some of that cloud cover, at least for right now. I do think we'll see some additional cloud cover later on this afternoon and evening, but some of us may see some sunshine out there today, and honestly, it's gonna shape up to be a pretty great day as a whole. We are sitting at 40 degrees in Madison right now. Winds coming out of the west at 3 miles per hour as that cold front now starts to move right on top of us. So from Madison and points towards the north and west, you will notice those temperatures are actually coming down somewhat. As you work your way towards the south and east, things are still a lot milder this morning, especially when compared to yesterday morning. But some of that milder air is going to go a little bit by the wayside, but we're still going to have a pretty nice day on tap for today. Here are those winds. So you see that cold front just towards the north and west, sitting right on top of Madison right now. That's going to continue to move south and east as we go throughout the morning. We'll see a mix of the sun and the cloud cover all day long. Temperatures are going to warm up all the way towards 56 for those highs today. Now, a lot of folks are going to be headed over towards Milwaukee. Of course, it is opening day for the Brewers. No tailgaters out right now. This is Miller Parkway at the stadium. Not a lot going on, but traffic is smooth between Madison and Milwaukee at the moment. So if you're getting ready to head that way, you want to get there early. No big issues. And of course, if you are stuck here in Madison today, you know, maybe you couldn't get away for that. Even still, if you were headed into the office or going anywhere this morning, traffic is shaping up pretty well for us.
Man, that is commitment right there, Chris, if somebody's heading out now to beat the traffic.
That is true.
I'm pretty sure the parking lots don't even open for a few hours, so maybe hold off until then. So thank you very much, Chris.
My pleasure.
Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, someone in Wisconsin waking up quite a bit richer this morning after drawing the third largest Powerball jackpot in history. The winning numbers were drawn yesterday, and according to Powerball, there is only one winner. That person bought their ticket in New Berlin. Yesterday's jackpot reached over $768 million. The lump sum payout, right around $477 million before taxes. Wisconsin is now tied for 6th on the all-time list of frequent winning states.
There's an update to share on an ongoing case against the company that makes the popular weed killer Roundup. A California man is now being awarded $80 million from Monsanto after a jury decided the chemicals in that weed killer caused his cancer. It could set up an expensive precedent for Monsanto, which is facing thousands of other similar lawsuits. The company maintains that the active ingredient in Roundup is safe.
Hundreds of pilots across the country are heading back to training as Boeing is requiring more instruction on flying its 737 MAX 8 jet. 200 pilots and airline personnel met at Boeing headquarters yesterday to hear about software changes and a new training program for that grounded jet. This comes as senators on Capitol Hill questioned the FAA's acting administrator about failures that led to 2 fatal crashes on MAX 8 jets, plus the relationship between airlines and government regulators. Changes are also expected for the FAA's certification process, which could end up costing almost $2 billion.
The Special Olympics of Wisconsin is fighting for its funding as Education Secretary Betsy DeVos is supporting a major cut for that organization. DeVos is arguing that the national organization should be funded primarily through philanthropy instead of federal dollars. A 2016 audit report shows federal grants are the 3rd largest source of revenue for Special Olympics chapters across the country. In northeastern Wisconsin, Special Olympics athletic director Carla Lieb says in her 30 years with the organization, she has seen the positive impact of those dollars for her participants and their communities.
It just builds that confidence that they can do so much more. If I can run this 50-meter race, yeah, why can't I go and learn the bus system?
Carla says Special Olympics does help those communities realize these athletes are fully capable people. The national organization does plan to go to Capitol Hill to address the proposed budget cuts with lawmakers.
When Sun Prairie voters head to the polls on Tuesday, they will be asked if they want a new high school and if the district should spend $5 million increasing teacher pay. The superintendent says the district is growing rapidly, and because of state revenue caps, there isn't the money to increase compensation for its 800 teachers. If both of the referenda questions are approved, the owner of a $250,000 home would pay $320 more a year in property taxes.
In Rock County, a drop in enrollment could lead to some changes in your child's school. In January, enrollment in the Janesville School District dropped below 10,000 students for the first time since 2004, I should say. The school board has now introduced a plan to restructure teachers within the district that could lead to teachers being moved or being let go. The district says it's too early to tell what any concrete changes might look like.
6:34 your time now. The Brewers are looking to make the playoffs for the second year in a row for the first time since 1982. Coming up, our Christina Laurie's at Miller Park for opening day, talking with one of the players who was on that team.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
First, though, Baraboo's long history with the circus is leading to a pretty cool connection to a movie opening this weekend. We'll tell you how they helped in the production of Dumbo. Coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
Okay, we are hoping that the chance for snow is coming to an end for our future, but Juan posted this picture of the last snowstorm on his farm. Gorgeous shot. Love it.
It is a really cool picture. It is hard sometimes to catch the snowflakes in motion, so hopefully those cows weren't too cold out there while this picture was taken.
We love any picture of animals.
Yeah, definitely. Juan, thank you so much for sharing. And what does your morning look like? Guys, we want more without snow. As beautiful as it is, we know that snow is no longer on the ground. So send them in, and we will share our favorites every morning here on the program. So the folks over at Circus World Museum in Baraboo are offering Disney some inspiration, and it's not the first time. The ringmaster for the museum tells us Disney wardrobe and set consultants came to Baraboo to research what the circus was like in the 1890s to the early 1900s to make the new Dumbo movie more accurate. When Disneyland first opened as well, the company actually purchased multiple wagons from the museum to put in the park.
I told you earlier, I think that's going to convince me to go see that movie. That's so neat.
Yeah, that is a really cool connection.
All right, here's another reason for you to head to the movie theaters this weekend. Chris says temperature is going to drop, but there is a chance we might avoid that snow he was talking about earlier. He's in next with your first alert forecast.
Yeah, we are certainly crossing our fingers for that. First, though, it is March 28th, and we want to say happy birthday to Max, Emma, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
You're taking a look at Miller Park right now in Milwaukee. Roads looking pretty clear, parking lots pretty empty. They will open in just a couple of hours as we get a little bit closer to game time. And it is like Christmas morning for baseball fans here in Wisconsin. The Brewers begin that 2019 season at 1:10 this afternoon.
And while fans across the state, I should say, are proudly donning their Yelich, Braun, and Kane jerseys again today, in the 70s and 80s, it was Gordon Thomas's name on the backs of many fans. And he is joining Christina Laurie live at Miller Park this morning. Hi, Christina.
Good morning, ladies. Gorman Thomas loves Milwaukee and the Brewers so much. He came back for 3 separate stints, most notably on the 81-82 team. That was the last Brewers squad to make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons, a feat they're looking to match this year. Good morning, Gorman.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Nice to talk to you. So I want to ask you, I'm going to save the predictions for the end of the season at the end of this interview. But first, what player is the one to watch heading into the season?
There's quite a few. We have that luxury for us as a team. Every position is solid. You expect good things from all of them. There's nobody who's potential or who might surprise. They are all good players. And same thing with the pitching staff. So we've got a solid team. We're looking for a big year.
Which team do you think will pose the toughest competition for the Brewers?
I think it's any and everybody in this division. They're all good. They're all good. And we're starting off with the perennial, favorite with St. Louis. So, I mean, it's going to be a long summer, but it's going to be a great summer.
You have a lot of experience playing ball. When you were on the team, what was always the toughest team that you either hated to face or maybe you loved them because they were such stiff competition?
Well, actually, the best way to answer that is that when we crossed the line, we hated everybody. So we didn't care. If we had 10 runs, we wanted to get another 10 runs just to make sure we put our foot on their neck. So when the game's over, you can do what you want. But when you're out there, it's all business.
We're almost out of time. I just want to quickly ask you, what is your prediction for this season? Will they win the division again? Are they going to the World Series?
I don't believe in putting that handle on somebody. If they just do what they're expected to do, it's going to be a wonderful year.
You heard it here. Wonderful year, wonderful season. First pitch is at 1:10 this afternoon. The gates to the ballpark open 2 hours before that, and the parking lot's open for tailgaters at 10:10. Although when we rolled up just after 5 o'clock this morning, we saw some guys already sitting out there drinking beer. Not to call them out or anything, but it's going to be a great season. Thank you so much to Gorman for talking to us, and I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Christina. Really cool interview there.
Yeah, it was. And not a bad day for those folks out tailgating at 5 in the morning. As far as Wisconsin weather goes, though, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's not going to be a bad day at all. And I actually think we're going to start to see some sunshine here in the picture. We're tracking the clouds right now throughout the morning. We did have a little cold front that moved in to Wisconsin overnight last night rather, that actually sparked off a little line of some showers that's now pushing south and east throughout parts of central Illinois. That cold front now right on top of us. Cloud cover is actually clearing out for some of us. There's some thicker cloud cover though that's going to start to work its way into western parts of Minnesota. That will move in later on this afternoon. So you're going to see a little bit of everything when it comes to sky conditions today. Winds are coming out of the west at 3 miles per hour, southwesterly winds down towards Janesville, and then northwesterly winds as you work your way up towards the Dells. So with that, the cold front is now right on top of us here in the Madison area. That's why we saw those temperatures fall from 48 earlier, now down to 40, 39 as you work your way over towards Watertown. And then as you work your way towards the north and west, you start to see the bluer hues on the horizon. But then as you look towards the south and east, that's where we do see some of those temperatures on the warmer side of the spectrum. So far, that's how things are starting out our day. And you do see that it's not too bad of a day over the Edgewater Sky Camera. We're forecasting a high of 56. Yesterday, we made it to 59. So we will be just a little bit colder, but our normal high is 49. So we are certainly going to see those temperatures staying above average today. Here's that next round of cloud cover that'll move in later on this afternoon. I can't rule out the chance of a shower with that, especially for Madison and Point South. It's the slightest chance of a shower. Most of us should be dry today, staying dry overnight. And then into the weekend, we will see more cloud cover coming in Friday afternoon, but the heaviest chance of rain is actually going to stay more so towards the south. That system overall has trended south all week long, and so now that actually may shape up for a good second half of the weekend for us. Then as we get towards the start of next week, watch how warmer air starts to build in the western half of the country. That is eventually going to work its way towards the upper Midwest in due time, and that is going to mean some warming temperatures for us, which I know a lot of folks want to see. But we'll warm up towards 52 as we get you towards noontime, eventually topping out right around 56 degrees into this afternoon. But we are going to see more cloud cover joining the picture, and then as we go through the next 7 to 10 days, do expect those temperatures to gradually warm right back up after a weekend cool down, perhaps near 60 by the time we get you towards next Wednesday, and then a rain chance and a cool down. So you kind of see the cycle. Weather works in cycles, but even still, we're not looking at any drastic cool downs and some nice weather as a whole. Oliver in Fitchburg is pretty excited about that one, and he said, hey, take me for a walk. All right. We'll walk Oliver at 3 o'clock. If you're doing so, expect some cloud cover and temperatures in the mid-50s.
Look at that little mustache.
I know, I love a good Scotty dog. That is
well,
good.
Good dog right there.
Yeah, up on the couch though. Not sure if he's supposed to be there.
Ooh, just got called out.
I know, sorry.
like,
Sorry,
not
bud.
sure.
Sorry. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning. .6:51 your time now for the morning sprint. Christina Laurie is at Miller Park for opening day, and Chris has a pretty decent forecast for anyone planning to play hooky to tailgate this morning.
But we start about 14 miles from Milwaukee in New Berlin, where lottery officials say the one and only Powerball jackpot winning ticket was sold. The ticket holder has 180 days now to claim their $768 million prize. That is the third largest lottery prize in U.S. history and the second largest Powerball jackpot ever. The lump sum payout is about $477 million before taxes. Wisconsin is now tied for 6th on the list of states with the most jackpot winners.
President Trump is up early and on Twitter this morning after his first TV interview since the Mueller report was released, aired on Fox News last night. The president was on Sean Hannity's show, calling the Russia investigation, quote, treasonous and an attempted takeover of our country. Democrats say they aren't backing down until the full Mueller report is released. House Democrat Rashida Tlaib says she's introducing a resolution asking the House Judiciary Committee to investigate possible impeachable offenses.
Overseas, efforts to persuade the British Parliament to support Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal are ongoing this morning. May has said she'll step down as Prime Minister when and if her Brexit deal was finished and approved. British lawmakers will vote on this plan tomorrow. Now, Britain leaving the European Union could have significant implications on international trade. Wisconsin businesses export nearly $800 million worth of goods to the United Kingdom each year.
Some of the laws passed in a lame duck session late last year here in Wisconsin are back in place yet again this morning after an appeals court sided with state Republicans and reinstated them. 2 Dane County judges have ruled that at least parts of that legislation passed to limit the powers of Governor Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul are illegal. One judge said some of those laws violated the separation of powers. Another said the extraordinary session itself was unlawful, meaning all of the bills passed during it violate the state constitution. But a court of appeals has put that ruling on hold.
A cold front moving into the area right now is going to change those winds now coming out of the north and west. We're also going to see more cloud cover moving into the picture later on. We're at 40 degrees right now in Madison. Some of us starting to drop into the upper 30s, and then farther south and east, you do have temperatures closer towards the 50-degree mark. All of us return towards 50 as we go throughout the morning, topping out around 56 this afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Wisconsin will not be getting federal aid to help with recovery efforts following this spring's flooding. The state of Wisconsin did not meet damage thresholds to apply for that aid following this month's flood events. Governor Evers did declare a state of emergency, so state assistance will be available to some communities.
The man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents will be back in court in 2 months after pleading guilty yesterday. 21-year-old Jake Patterson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of intentional homicide and 1 count of kidnapping. 13-year-old Jamie was not in the courtroom yesterday. Patterson had held Jamie in his home for 3 months after he killed her parents at their home in Barron. She was able to escape in January. Patterson's next sentencing hearing has been scheduled for May 24th.
With the advent of body-worn cameras, the advent of squad cameras, some of my investigations have been 20 minutes long.
Police in Baraboo say their experience with body cameras does not reflect what a new national study is showing. That research suggests that the cameras have not had a significant effect on how people view police. That said, a recent survey from the Wisconsin Professional Police Association found 94% of the general public do support police wearing body cameras.
The city of Madison says it will issue violations to Edgewood High School as that district plans to start holding sports games on its fields in the middle of an argument with its neighbors. Edgewood held a girls' soccer game at its Goodman Athletic Field on Tuesday, and the school has more of those games scheduled through May. The State Journal reports city officials have told the school that violates the school's master plan, which says only team practices and gym classes can be held on the field.
When Sun Prairie voters head to the polls Tuesday, they won't just be asked to pay for a new high school. They'll also say whether they're willing to cover the cost of a pay raise for teachers. The superintendent says the district is growing rapidly, and because of state revenue caps, there just isn't enough money to increase compensation for its 800 teachers. If those referendums are approved, the owner of a $250,000 home in Sun Prairie would pay about $320 more a year in property taxes.
In Janesville, a drop in enrollment could lead to changes for the schools there. In January, enrollment in the Janesville School District dropped below 10,000 students for the first time since 2004. The school board has now introduced a plan to restructure teachers within the district, which could lead to teachers moving schools or being let go.
In just 6 hours, the stands here at Miller Park will be packed with around 42,000, hopefully all Brewers fans, for first pitch on opening day. Now, the first pitch is at 1:10, and management says you'll want to get here early. Gates to the ballpark open 2 hours before the game, and the parking lots open just after 10. Although the season hasn't officially started yet, ticket sales are already up 20% from this time last year. A division win will do that as the team works to win their second division title. Go Brewers.
Thank you so much, Christina. 6:57 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hey, Jason.
Hello. It's brake lights from Stoughton Road to Monona Drive. Otherwise, motorists are at the posted speed limit on the Beltline. No issues on John Nolan with only a minor delay at North Shore Drive, and it's all clear to head east on 94. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you, Jason.
And we are looking at another beautiful day here in Madison. Expect those temperatures to top out around 56 later on, starting out at 40.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.